Football fans, AI fans, meet the AI-driven ghostwriter that never runs out of spicy, hot takes on football. In this video, we go a bit further than the normal Q&A chatbots that we've created in previous videos. Imagine waking up and there are 10 ready-to-publish blog posts about hot takes in the football industry. Well, let me show you how you can do that. So the platform that we're going to use to showcase or to build this automation is make.com. Make.com is one of the most popular automation platforms and it's very easy to use, so that's why I'm choosing for this one. Just keep in mind, this is not a full agent yet. So we talked about the first level in the previous videos. Now we're going to look at these workflow sidekicks, but a real agent still has to make decisions. In this example, you will just see that it is an automated flow, so it does not have to take decisions anywhere, and that's what an agent defines. Of course, this is what we will see in one of the next videos. I'm working here on a free plan of make.com, so this is completely free. The only thing that you need for this example is an OpenAI account, because you need the API from OpenAI. As you can see here, you have about 1,000 free operations, which is a lot definitely for starters. So how should you start building your first AI workflow in make.com? Let me show you. So you click on create a new scenario, and then you start learning what every single of these modules is. So take a week or two in your agenda, block it off and learn every tool that there is in this stack. So rule number one is do not start creating an AI workflow from scratch. It takes a while before you understand all of the principles in this tool. What I do suggest you, or what I still do, there are loads of templates here where you can start from, but my preference goes to YouTube. So find a video on YouTube that is very similar to the problem that you want to solve. In this case, I want to create an automated blog post. So I search on automate blog posts with make.com. So here you can find a lot of examples on how you can create this in make.com. My personal favorite influencer in the make.com space is Jono Catliff. This guy, and this is the blog post and this is actually the YouTube video that I really like. So I click on the YouTube video and I really recommend you to first take a look at this YouTube video to understand how this workflow works. So Jono is a very nice guy. He always gives away free blueprints. So if you click on this in his description, then you can name a fair price. Maybe if you start using Jono's templates more, you can donate something. But if you just click here on 0, purchase again, of course I purchased it, and here again on 0, then you will be able to download it. Bicycles, 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 verified. Motorcycle, 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 verified. Last one, verified. Okay. And here you can download it. So if you click on the download button, now you go to make.com. This is your new scenario that you've just opened. Here I click on the 3 dots and I click on import blueprints. And then I just upload the file that I've just downloaded. Et voila. We have already a nice template to start from. So this is step 1. This can save you maybe a full day if you have to figure out everything that is here. So you just have to keep in mind that I'm not an expert on make.com. Jono is. So if you want a full course on make.com, follow Jono. I'm just a guy that knows how to grasp the fundamentals of this platform and then use these blueprints, these shortcuts, to create a workflow like this and then tweak it a bit until it becomes very useful for myself. So once you've imported the blueprint and you've looked at the full video on YouTube so that you know or understand what this example is about, you can start looking into the individual nodes. So the first thing you will have to do once you've imported your blueprint is to connect all of the relevant accounts. So here you can see I already did the configuration. If you don't know how to do this, below is a link to a video of 1 minute that explains how you can configure this. So then you should watch that video. Once I've connected my account, you will see that all of the instructions already are there because Jono already did it for me. Don't forget to click on the save button. Then you will do this for all of these nodes. You do the same thing for the Google connection. This is a bit easier. You just have to sign in with your Google account and click on accept. Then click on save again. And in Jono's example, he uses WordPress to publish the blog posts, which is, in my opinion, the best idea. But I don't have a WordPress account, so I will showcase this example via LinkedIn. And once this is set up, you can actually already test run it and it will be able to generate something in this style, for example, which is a LinkedIn post from me. So what we now want to do is make this example relevant. So let's now take a look at all of these individual nodes. The first thing you want to do is set up how regularly this automation should take place. So let's say you want to publish blog posts every day. You click here on every day. You can choose the time. Let's save it. And once you activate this scenario, so we're still in the test mode, then it will do this. So right now we'll keep it in test mode. And let's now take a look at all of the individual nodes. So what you will notice here straight away is that you can send some prompts to ChatGPT, which will then give an output for you. And you can give ChatGPT multiple roles. You have a developer or system role. You can have a user role. You can have an assistant role, or you can even use tools nowadays. The developer or system prompt is actually the main goal or purpose you want out of this ChatGPT interaction. Secondly, you can also have an assistant role, which is actually used if you want to have a bit of control about the output. So you can see here, we want to have the output exactly in JSON. That's important. We'll see in a minute why. We also want to avoid that there are some custom variables such as 2020x at this name of the blog post. That's not something you want to publish on your LinkedIn or on your website. And then we get another assistant prompt, which actually talks about the specific example that we want to do. Jono's template talks about DJ services, which is something I'm not very interested in. So what do? I go to ChatGPT. I upload the transcript of Jono's video, which you can do very easily. Going to the video, then below show transcript, and at the right, just select everything, copy it, publish it in ChatGPT, and then ask the following. I want to tweak it a bit so that this example is relevant to me as a person. And then I talk about, okay, what do I want to do? What do I need to change? Then I actually just copy this as well. So I copy this context and I tell it, okay, I want it to be for unpopular football opinions, for example. And then I use this output of ChatGPT to create my own example out of this template. So then you get something like this. So most of the things I do not change. Here, by the way, I tell it to create 2 blog post titles. I can also tell it to create 1,000 blog post titles. That's possible just for the example. And because for every blog post title you use a bit of credits of OpenAI, I scale it down to only 2 blog post titles. So all of the other things I keep unchanged. And this is the one that I change. So here you can see it's very similar to Jono's example, but just tailored to my example of creating unpopular football opinions, blog posts about that. And these are some example titles that also ChatGPT generated. Okay, so the first notes creates these titles. What is very important, we asked it to be in JSON, and now I will show you why. So the very nice thing about make.com is that the output of the first note, you can use it in all of the next notes. So that's a nice thing to know. You can see here, if you click on this output icon, this is the input that we received from the first notes. And this JSON parser nodes actually separates these individual topics so that we can use these individual topics to create these blog posts. And then you have an iterator node. This iterator node actually just says for every input that we receive. So right now we set create only 2 titles. This iterator will first go to the first title, do all of the other operations, and then go to the second title and do it again. If you have 10 titles, then the iterator will do it 10 times. So the first operation that we want to do on this title is, based on this title, generate an outline. And here you can see that create a blog post outline for this blog post ID. And this is something you can select from the previous one. So the value is the first value of the operator. And the next iteration, it's the second value. Then you go to the second prompt. Again, you give it some instructions on what you want from this output. And here we use markdown and headings because normally you want to publish this on a website. And then these markdowns are actually used for creating titles and subtitles. So I did not change anything on this one. Just click save again. The second operation we want to do is, for every of these outlines, we want to create a first draft of the blog post. And again, you take the content of the previous one. Again, I did not do this. Jono already did this for me. He again gives this ChatGPT prompt some instructions on the outputs. So what did I change in this specific note? Well, it's very important for you to always double check if there are some specific details about the example of Jono. Here he talked about his specific brand that he was creating these blog posts for. So here we change it to, my brand is Unpopular Footy Facts. My space is this. I talk about the mission of my blog posts, which is deliver data-backed, thought-provoking takes that challenge mainstream narratives and spark discussion. So that's what I want to do with these blog posts. And then I talk about tone as well, and I tell him when relevant, within some quick data points in this blog post as well. We click on save and we go to the next note. And in this next note, we are actually gonna change or improve the previous outputs of the blog post. So again, you can see here, these are all the previous outputs of the nodes. This was the first node. This is the JSON output. This is our value or all our separate IDs. This is our outline, and this is the first draft of the blog post. So here Jono takes the choices, he clicks on that, and then you just tell the prompt, I want you to rewrite this blog post SEO friendly. Okay, and here are again some specific instructions for the outputs. This is not my expertise, but I trust Jono that he knows what he's doing here. I again click on save, and then we go to the next node. And this node is actually to just double check. I want you to rewrite this blog post, make sure there are no grammar mistakes, and make it more natural. And so instead of using the typical ChatGPT style, make it more natural. And he again explains the same principle in an assistant role. So we click on save. That's good enough. And then we go to the last node, which is actually used to create an image about this blog post. So you can see here, create a header image for this blog post, and then we give the title because it does not need the whole blog post to generate this image. We selected the right model. So in Jono's example, it was DALL-E 3 because we did not have this integration with the new GPT image generation model. But I really recommend you to take this one because it generates such a high quality images. This, you leave it like that, save it. And so let's first take a look at the output. So this was the image output, but you cannot see the image straight away. This is the last version of our block, and you can see this is the first example, this is the second example. If you click here on output results, then you see rise of the Asian football, why the next global stars might come from the East. So again, a controversial topic, and this is a fully generated blog post where I did not do anything. So let's now put this in a Google Docs document to see the outputs. Again, it's all filled in for me. The only thing you needed to do was connect it to your account. You could actually skip this step as well and just upload it to LinkedIn, but this is just to check or to have a database of all of your blog posts. And then in the last step, I wanted to automatically publish an article on LinkedIn. Normally you want to choose for WordPress or whatever you want to publish your blog post. However, I do not have a website yet, so I chose to do it on LinkedIn. Of course, your markdown format is a bit weird to see on LinkedIn, but just know that normally you want to publish it on a website. So the only thing I needed to do was add a note here and search in LinkedIn, click here on more, and then create a user image post. Then you need to connect it to your LinkedIn account. And then, of course, you need to fill in the right ones. So this is the name of the blog post. So the content, let's look at the last version of our blog post. So this is important this is the one before. So make sure you take the last version of your blog post, the SEO optimized, the double checked one. And you click here on results. You can make it publicly. Let's, for this example, just publish it to my connections on my demo account on LinkedIn, and let's save it. And now, of course, you need to link this to the last note, and then you would have it. But I already did this with this note, so I will just delete this one, and then I can try and run it. And then you've created your automated blog post generator. Now you just have to click on the run button and it gives you an example. But of course, if you tell it to do it every day, then you don't even have to think about it. You can do it at night if you want to. So I just clicked on the run button to test it out. And it takes about 5 minutes to generate these blog posts. The only thing that I changed in the last draft is adding another assistant prompt and telling it to make sure to reduce the output to max 2,500 tokens, because this is the publish limit of LinkedIn. So of course, for a normal blog post on your website, you shouldn't add this, but this is something I added because otherwise it does not publish on LinkedIn. And let's first take a look at the output here. So the second blog post is about the underrated art of defensive positioning. Let's take a look at the contents, and this is the blog post that it generated. And let's now take a look at LinkedIn. So if we refresh it, you will see that a new image and a new blog post actually just got generated. Of course, you see the markdowns again. Of course, you can change this in the prompts, but on a website, this will be the main title, this will be a subtitle, so that's why it's like this. And then, of course, the image that is generated with image gen of ChatGPT is actually quite nice to see as well. So this is how you can automate your blog posts. But of course, you can do this as well with short form content on Instagram, for example, with just LinkedIn posts as well. This is just an example to show you how you can use AI in these automated workflows. So just to talk about the costs of generating these automated blog posts, I did in total 71 requests during the testing phase alone. And a request is just one call to ChatGPT, so in one node. So if I did a quick calculation here, it's about 15 cents for every blog post that you generate. So definitely not a high cost here. So if you think that these kind of automations can help you save a couple of hours a week, definitely smash the like button and subscribe if you want to see the next videos where I'll talk about the true power of agents that can make decisions on their own. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.